Hello guys, this is Dr. Chillin. This is the first type of video that is going on my channel. It is a anime slash manga review. These are the types of videos I think I'm going to be doing on this channel. I've always wanted to delve deeper into anime and manga as it comes out, so I think that these types of videos are the types of videos I'm going to be doing at this moment, and I thought I'd put a cool twist on it by showing some Osu gameplay while I'm talking about this newest One Piece chapter. If you don't know, Osu is a beat game that you listen to music and play to the notes by clicking on the circles. This is a pretty fun game, and it's a game I'm slowly improving at. I'm nothing too special at it at this moment, but I'm slowly getting better and better, and I think it's soothing to watch and to hear. So I'll have that playing in the background while I talk about this newest One Piece chapter. So let's get right into it. Starting off with the chapter is the cover page, which isn't just any normal cover page like we usually have. It is a colored cover page showing a lot of One Piece characters drawn by other mangaka in Shonen Jump. It's a pretty cool piece overall, and it's cool to have it compared to the normal cover stories and just cover art that's usually on the manga. My favorite part of it, of course, is our boy Gaimon sitting there on the chest with the dude from Dragon Quest. I think he's sitting there on the chest. It's good to see him again after him being gone for so long. So starting off, chapter 999, the sake I brew while waiting for you. I like that title because Brook is one of my favorite One Piece characters, even though he's not that useful and not that like delved into, not that powerful, none of that. But I think I just love his character overall. I love his design. I love his comedy. His comedy is, even though it's a little dumb, it's kind of hilarious in my sense. And I just love how he's the musician. I love music, and he's really just one of my favorite Straw Hats. And Big Sake is just such a powerful song. When I first heard it with Brooke's backstory, it just hit hard. That's all I gotta say. It hit really hard, and I just love listening to it. So it was nice to see the title refer back to that song. So starting out, it went back to a flashback with Ace, which I wasn't expecting in chapter 999, because we're about to get to chapter 1000. I was expecting a little different, more towards Onigashima. I wasn't expecting a flashback to go into here, but after last chapter when Yamato mentioned Ace, I was like, oh shit. We're getting an Ace flashback, which is kind of cool. So the flashback starts out with Ace fighting Yamato when he first arrived on the island, which was pretty cool to see. We knew that Ace was previously in Wano at some point because of Tama. It was cool to see that. It's cool to delve deeper into why he was here and when he was here. And so Ace arrives on the island fighting Yamato, and they realize that none of Kaido's men are actually there. All the big ups are out doing something, and I thought this was interesting to see, and I'm hoping later in the story that this actually like ties into something, like they were somewhere important. I think this is something Oda would definitely do. This small little thing that she said, like Yamato said, oh, my dad's not here. I think that Oda might like tie that in and like show where he was at this point. So Ace continues on fighting with Yamato, but then they eventually end up in a draw. Nothing too spectacular goes on. Ace just realizes that Yamato's very strong and comments how she really should be like captain level. It's crazy that she's not captain because she's so strong, and I think that's very obvious and a very good point that Yamato should be strong because she is the daughter of Kaido, which is claimed to be the strongest beast in the world. So it's really cool to see that Yamato is actually pretty strong because she is facing off against Ace, who we know that he is pretty strong. So they fight. They end up pretty much going in a draw, but as they're fighting, Ace mentions how they both didn't get to choose their fathers, and it's cool to see that they can kind of relate in this sense. I mean, it's a little different. Ace never really got to meet his father. He never really got to interact with him, but Yamato actually gets to interact with him and is kind of enslaved by him, which Yamato has more reason to hate her father, I feel like, than Ace. Ace definitely if we look deeper into Ace's reason why he hates Gold D. Roger, it's kind of, I've always thought it's a little like bitch made. He shouldn't be complaining that his father was the Pirate King. Like he was. I think overall, I think like we haven't really seen anything about Gold Roger, but I feel like he's a lot like Luffy and is actually like a really good person. I feel like that's my thoughts on who Gold Roger really is. But I think it would be awesome to have him as a father, but Ace obviously doesn't like him as a father, even though he never got to experience him much. But I'm sure we'll see more of Gold Roger's character, and there are reasons Ace hates his father that I really can't remember at this point. If I'd have to look back, because I know he did mention the reasons why he hates him, but I really think that it'd be pretty cool to have the Pirate King as your father. But besides the point, he's able to kind of bond with Yamato in this sense. They kind of bond together over their, not hatred over their fathers, just their slight misgivings with their parents. Well, not their parents. We don't even know their parents. Hopefully we find out like Yamato's parent. That would be nuts. I've heard theories that's maybe like Big Mom or something. That would be nuts. And like Katakuri's dad is Kaido. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, no, they're able to bond over their fathers, and towards the end of the fight, Yamato kind of attacks the dragon, which is like the symbol of, I think it's mentioned that it's like the symbol of Kaido. Kaido's like, Kaido's domination over Wano or something. It was symbol of Kaido's power, that's what it is. But yeah, Yamato hits it, as well as Ace, which is pretty cool to see, because that's the thing that brought us to this flashback, was this big dragon statue. And I don't really think this dragon statue has much relevance in the story. It's just kind of, like I said, a symbol of Lord Kaido's power. I don't really think it's like a old dragon or something that like it could be resummoned, it could be revived or something. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's literally just a statue made that really doesn't have that much relevance anymore. But after Yamato and Ace fight, they end up drinking together and bonding together, and they talk about how their lives have been going, and then we'll see that Ace is talking a lot about Luffy, which is cool to see. It's cool to see, like, when we first got introduced to Ace and Luffy's backstory after Marineford, it was crazy to see that Ace was such a, like, maniacal and loving brother at first. He did not want anything to do with Luffy, and now, like, at this point, we get to see more of Ace being that big brother that Luffy adores. That's cool to see that Ace kind of adores Luffy just as much as Luffy adores Ace at this point. That's cool to just see him talk about Luffy in such a good sense. And this is where Yamato first hears about Luffy. And it's crazy to see that Luffy comes back to Wano at this point after Yamato hearing about Luffy all this time ago. So Ace talks about Luffy, and they just talk, and Ace makes his promise to come back one day, just like he made a promise to Tama. And as Yamato's talking to Momonosuke about this, she drops the fact that she's Kaido's daughter, and he's kind of surprised by it and everything. And they talk about the past of Ace and how he's dead now and all of that. And we cut to Nami and Tama talking on her little like dog creature, and we get to see that she has a plan. Well, okay, so Nami tells Tama that Ace is Luffy's brother, which is a pretty big point that I thought that she knew at first, but it's kind of crazy that she didn't know that Luffy was Ace's brother after they had talked about him previously. So we see those two talking and riding, and then we cut to Marco. Marco's in the main hall with Brook, Nico, Robin, and Zoro. And we see some panels with Queen yelling and just a bunch of random characters trying to get Marco. But we see Marco transform into the Phoenix again, and that's something I can't wait to see in the anime, because I've loved Marco's Phoenix form. I think it's really unique and honestly really beautiful, and we can kind of see in the panels it's shimmering and sparkling. It's pretty cool. And we see that Marco picks up Zoro and is bringing him to the top to hopefully meet up with Luffy, and Luffy will hopefully meet up with Kaido and Big Mom, and we'll see that big fight. So then, what I wasn't expecting here is Marco has his flashback, another flashback in this chapter, which is kind of crazy because this chapter seems like it's been going on for so long. Marco has his own flashback of him back on the crew with everyone, with Whitebeard, with Ace. They talk about how Odin had the previous second commander seat, and Whitebeard kind of explains to Ace why they couldn't go back and save Odin, which was kind of sad. It would have been pretty epic if Whitebeard had gone back and tried to save Odin and take out Kaido for trying to take out Odin, but that would be like worse than Marineford, honestly. That'd cause a lot of problems in the world because two emperors clashing. There'd be a lot of casualties, and I can see the reason why Whitebeard didn't go back and save Odin. I wish he really did, because Odin was such a fucking badass character, but that's besides the point. Whitebeard gets a little mad at Ace, trying to tell him that there's no way he could take down Kaido. We get a little cameo of Blackbeard talking about how Ace just wants to take down the big guys, and we kind of get like an idea into Blackbeard's mind. It's kind of funny to see him talk about that to Ace when that's kind of how he thinks. And Marco, Izo, they give their support for Ace if he ever wanted to go do that, but we know that never actually happened. And then Marco keys back into real time, and we get to see Queen and Keen in their zone forms, which I really like Queen's zone form. He's absolutely massive. I couldn't imagine how big he actually is when we see him in the anime, because he's whatever you call it, the Brachiosaurus. He's the Brachiosaurus, which those things are huge, and it'd be crazy to see in the anime. And the one thing I liked about his form the most is how he has either cannons or guns inside his mouth, which is interesting to think what is actually inside his body, and if he's part cyborg, and how he figured that stuff out, and if that has maybe has a connection to I don't know, could have a connection to something. But then we get the Tama and Momonosuke scene where they find out that Ace is Luffy's brother, and Momonosuke finds out that Ace was Goldie Roger's son. Just some more shocking things that some of the characters didn't know about that we didn't really think about. And then we also see a scene where Yamato mentions that Luffy carries the initial D, or maybe she's talking about Ace carries the initial D, and it's cool to see as Wano's going on, more and more characters are talking about the initials of D and what it really means, and I just can't wait for the day that One Piece talks about what the D actually means, because it's been a thing for so long, and it'd be so cool to see what it finally is, but I feel like we're a long ways away from that actually happening. So yeah, we're done with the Yamato flashback, and this chapter's been going on for so long, and we think it's just about done, but then we get to see Kaido and Big Mom, and Big Mom has finally made it to the top of Onigashima, where Kaido is sitting there just drinking his sake. Kaido makes it to the top, she's like, where's Straw Hat at? Straw Hat isn't there yet, which hopefully, I assume next chapter 1000, Straw Hat will be there, but they begin talking, and Kaido reveals where he's going to drop Onigashima. He's going to drop it at the old Kazuki castle, which is the last sign of the Kazuki clan. And then Big Mom mentions the road poneglyph, which we get to finally see that Big Mom's worrying about the road poneglyphs, and Kaido kind of accuses her of early betrayal right here, but I think we know that Big Mom is eventually going to end up betraying Kaido at some point. We just know it, but she tries to play it off and say that Kaido's like a little brother to her, and she'd never do that. But then we get the very shocking reveal, which I thought was pretty crazy. Big Mom mentions to Kaido how back on that day at God Valley when Garp and Goldie Roger defeated the Rocks Pirates, she gave Kaido the mythical type fish fruit, which is kind of which is really shocking to hear because we've seen Kaido as a dragon this entire time. But he turns out to have the fish fruit, which I don't think anyone was expecting. But as people went into it, as people did more research on it, there is actually a Japanese legend that mentions a certain type of fish that was granted the powers of a dragon, which is pretty interesting. I haven't looked too much into it. I don't know too much about it, but was something I was not expecting. So I don't know if how Kaido was able to get these dragon powers and what kind of fish he is, but maybe that's something we'll find out in the next chapter. And that's the end of the chapter there. And last line they say is, "We acquire the One Piece," which is interesting. And this is the last chapter before chapter 1000. It's set up to have Luffy reach the top, to see Big Mom and Kaido there. Zoro might join him. I don't know what else. I don't know what could happen in chapter 1000 at this point. Hopefully it's something extremely shocking and cool. It could be anything and I'd be happy about it, but I don't really need to talk about that because it's just the chapter review. But maybe I'll make another video on what I think chapter 1000 will be about. But thank you guys for watching. This is the first video I'm posting on this channel, and I hope to continue doing these in the future. And if you guys liked it, hit the like button. If you want to watch more of these, hit the subscribe button. I'm just a small YouTuber trying to grow out here, so I appreciate you watching though, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.